This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Monday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Here's what's making headlines on this February 3rd. Another violent weekend in the Circle City gunfire, leaving 3 people dead and another person fighting for their life.
A big honor for a former Colt. We're hearing from Edgerrin James as he learns he'll be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
And local students are getting a feel of the pharmacy industry. Our Classroom to Career series returns, looking at how Purdue University is taking the next generation of training the next generation of pharmacists. We do need to get a check of our Storm Team 6 forecast, though, this morning.
Yeah, and if it's anything like what we had yesterday, Todd, we'll take it.
Yeah,
yes. That was so awesome.
You know, yesterday was terrific. Record high temperature. We'll get back close to record high temperatures today. The one difference, not quite as much in the way of sunshine today, but we're still dry. That is the good news, and it will be a good day to get out and about. Look at this, 41 degrees is your current temperature in Indianapolis. That's already over our average high that we should see throughout the entire day. It's 37 right now in Bloomington, 33 in Greencastle. So there are some cooler areas, and you definitely need to have a jacket handy this morning as you walk out the door, but these temperatures are going to start to moderate quite quickly, and we have mainly clear skies right now across the area, but there is quite a bit of cloud cover off to our west, and that's going to start to make its way into the area during the course of the day today. So we'll call for increasing clouds throughout the day today, but take a look at these temperatures already back up into the low 50s by the time we get to the noon hour. The record high for today is 62 degrees. We'll get very, very close to that right now. I'm keeping the high temperature at 61, so enjoy the mild temperatures, the dry conditions today. Rain returns tomorrow. More on that coming up, Lauren, in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are keeping a close eye on your Monday morning commute, and here's a look over on the west side of town on I-74 traveling eastbound. A 7-minute drive from State Road 267 to the I-465 ramps. No delays there. As you're heading in from the northwest side, though, take a look. We do have our NDOT traffic camera here showing you I-65 a little south of 38th Street. The flashing lights and the flares there blocking the right lane and shoulder heading southbound. We're learning this is due to 2 big potholes in the road that they want you to avoid this morning. So watch out for the emergency crews on the scene. Shift over into the left lanes and you should be good to go.
A string of violence in the Circle City keeping Metro Police busy over the weekend. The latest incident happened just before 11 last night near 10th and Rural on the city's east side. Officers were called to a Marathon gas station on reports of a person shot. When they arrived, they found a person with a gunshot wound. That victim was taken to the hospital in serious condition, and this morning police are still working to learn what led to the gunfire. On the west side, another person is dead after an early Sunday morning shooting. This happened on Rockville Road, just east of Holt Road. An officer called to the scene found a person suffering from a gunshot wound. Their identity has not been released. Then Saturday night, 2 people were shot and killed on the east side of Indianapolis. Police found a man and a woman dead in a yard near 19th and Avedon Road, that is. Detectives are trying to determine how the 2 people were killed and how they were involved in a disturbance or if they were innocent bystanders. The victims' names have not yet been released. If you have any information in any of these cases, you can leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers.
Time right now is 5:04. Happening today, a Greenfield man is expected to appear in court in connection to an August crash killing a bicyclist. Court documents show that 40-year-old Robert Terry is expected to change his plea. Police say Terry was driving a minivan that hit and killed 76-year-old Roger Wellenreiter of Greenfield. Following the crash, Terry tested positive for THC, the active ingredient in marijuana, and methamphetamine. He also was driving on a suspended license.
The process to decide the future of a valuable piece of property near downtown Indianapolis is getting some help. On Friday, a judge ordered mediation in the lawsuit filed against the city by Ambrose Property Group. The 2 sides are battling over the site of the former General Motors stamping plant. For more details, you can click on this story in the RTV6 app. Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6's focus, linking you to jobs, resources, and training, and we love to find ways that education can take you into a career.
That's right, and this morning our Kelsey Anderson shows us a program at Purdue that's getting your future pharmacist ready from classroom to career.
Consulting customers, filling prescriptions, and understanding the ins and outs of how different drugs work. Those are just some of the things students in the College of Pharmacy get to learn while working here in the University Pharmacy, even as first-year students.
I definitely did not think going into my first professional year that I would be actually working hands-on in the pharmacy, but it is something that I felt like is a really great experience for all of the first-year professional students, just to get their toes in the water, get exposed to the common medications that we usually dispense.
The pharmacy program takes 4 years, and in their final year, the students become the teachers, and they guide the first-year students through working in the pharmacy. Both aspects of the working pharmacy can help students decide what path they want to go on after graduation, whether it be retail, research, or teaching. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thanks. You can see this story and all of our Hiring Hoosiers profiles right now on hiringhoosiers.com.
Time right now is 5:06. One Indiana Police Department is being removed from a popular TV show, at least for now. Terre Haute Police tweeted on Sunday this weekend was the department's last appearance on A&E's Live PD for a while. THPD officials say that the change is part of the show's rotation of departments. Terre Haute officials say their contract with Live PD is valid through the end of the year.
A popular tourist attraction in northern Indiana that provides a glimpse into the life and history of the Amish is going on the auction block later this week. It's not clear if Wednesday's auction will mean that Amish Acres in Napanee will continue in the form it has for the last 50 years. The owners of the property say after 5 decades, they're ready to retire. The attraction draws 150,000 visitors every year.
Some tough news for a man whose scoring has been a spark plug for the Pacers this season. TJ Warren has been ruled out of tonight's game against the Dallas Mavericks because of a concussion. Here's where the injury happened last night. Julius Randle of the Knicks drives the lane. Warren, playing defense on the play, falls hard onto the floor, hitting his head. He left the game and would not return. So far, the Pacers have not announced how much time Warren could miss. The game against the Mavericks tips off at 7 o'clock right here at Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
This morning, former Indianapolis Colts running back Edgerrin James is celebrating an honor years in the making. The former Colt is headed into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. James announced the big news on his Instagram account Saturday. It was the 4th time James was listed as a Hall of Fame finalist. Edgerrin holds 5 Colts records, including career rushing yards. Here's what he had to say following the big announcement.
The work is done, and it's just a matter of time, so it's one of those things that you can't get too high or too low about. You just wait, and then when your number's called, then you'll be right here where we're at today.
Former Colts wide receiver Reggie Wayne was also up for an induction. Wayne did not make it in this year's class.
At 5:08, a dump truck driver is being honored here in Indianapolis for his quick thinking that ultimately helped to save lives. In August, William Honey of Greencastle pulled his truck into a construction zone on I-65 near Lafayette Road, blocking a wrong-way driver. The driver was driving in closed lanes approaching construction crews. Honey's quick thinking helped stop the driver as the man crashed into the front of his truck.
My co-worker, she called out on the radio, said, hey, there's a police chase going backwards in the construction zone. And I knew that about 100 yards behind me, there was a paving crew, 2 paving crews going side by side. And so I just, I happened to be the right person at the right time. That's all it really was. So I just put my truck in sideways like a barricade, so that way he couldn't go any further.
State police officer and the construction crew there that night attended that ceremony. Honey says his message for the community is please slow down in construction zones, stay alert, off your phone, and don't drink and drive. It's 5:09 right now. Let's check in with Todd and today's forecast.
And it's another good forecast date based upon that we're here in the beginning of February. And we're talking about potentially record high temperatures once again. So as you walk out the door, it's a little on the cool side this morning. You definitely need to have at least some form of a jacket handy as temperatures are sitting in the 30s with skies that are partly cloudy right now. But you'll notice throughout the morning hours, the clouds will increase and that trend will continue throughout the entire day. So that's a little bit of a change from yesterday. Yesterday we had that bright blue sky. It's not going to be quite as bright throughout the day today as these clouds start to increase, but we are completely dry from start to finish on this Monday. And today's a day that you really need to take advantage of because it is by far the best one that we have remaining remaining throughout the week. Yesterday was probably the best day of the week. Today is a close second, but things start to go downhill tomorrow as rain returns. So enjoy these temperatures. Mid-60s again in southern locations, mid-50s as you work your way to the north. The metro area should be right around 60 to 61 degrees for your afternoon high. We'll talk about that rain that arrives tomorrow coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. The presidential election season officially kicks off tonight. After the break, we're taking a look at the Iowa caucuses.
And learning a new skill is beneficial, whether it's for work or a hobby. Ahead this morning, we're looking at how one organization is using a modern skill to keep reformed inmates out of prison.
And good morning, Fishers. Here's a live look for your commute. I-69, a view here near 106th Street, where everything's traveling up to speed. We'll be right back after this short break.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
Here's a look at the stories expected to make headlines a little later today. Democrats are on the ground in Iowa as first in the nation voting begins tonight. The Iowa caucuses officially kick off the 2020 presidential nominating season. Several of the presidential candidates raced back to the Hawkeye State this weekend to campaign. Senators Warren, Sanders, and Klobuchar all kept in Washington, D.C. last week for President Trump's impeachment trial. Today on Capitol Hill, legal teams will present their closing arguments as the Trump impeachment trial resumes, with time slated both today and tomorrow for senators to speak. The final vote on the 2 articles of impeachment is expected Wednesday afternoon. That's one day after the president delivers his State of the Union address. And after half a century, it is party time in Kansas City today. The Chiefs beating the San Francisco 49ers in last night's Super Bowl 31-20. It's just the second Super Bowl title for the team, their first win 50 years ago in Super Bowl IV. Later today, MVP quarterback Patrick Mahomes heads to Disney World for a celebratory parade.
It is 5:14. The U.S. now has travel restrictions of its own because of the coronavirus, and China has built a new hospital in just 10 days to keep up with the diagnosis. 7,200 cases have now been reported in China's mainland, and about 100 more have spread across almost 30 other countries. The first coronavirus death outside of China is confirmed in the Philippines. Meanwhile, a Boston man who's just returned from Wuhan is the latest case in the U.S. Now, U.S. citizens returning from China are subject to mandatory quarantine of up to 2 weeks.
New York's governor is deploying additional resources to help Puerto Rico. The island is recovering from multiple earthquakes. That's as some parts of the island are still rebuilding after Hurricane Maria. Governor Andrew Cuomo is sending 26 bilingual mental health professionals and 25 building inspectors. The group will leave to Puerto Rico tomorrow. It is 5:15 on your Monday morning. Todd, I'm loving the weather you have for today. What comes after today, though, not so much.
Yeah, by far today is the best day we have left this week because we're going to get into rain tomorrow. And then by the middle and end of the week, we're talking about the potential for a wintry mix across the area. So enjoy today. Many people took advantage of the mild temperatures yesterday. In fact, a record high temperature. And the fact that it was a Sunday, most people were off and were able to enjoy the nice weather. Today, a little more in the way of cloud cover, but the temperatures do remain mild. 41 degrees right now. That's the current temperature here in Indy. 46 is the current temperature in Martinsville. Some 30s out there. 37 Bloomington, 34 Tipton, 36 Muncie, 33 as you work your way into the Richmond area. So some of you definitely need to have the jacket handy. Mainly clear skies to the north and east. You do notice some clouds starting to make their way into our area from the west. And these will continue to overspread central Indiana throughout the course of the day today. So it's not going to be that bright blue sky like we had yesterday. Really throughout much of the day. We'll replace the sunshine with a little bit of cloud cover, but notice these temperatures. They still warm very, very quickly throughout the day today. 39 degrees at 9 a.m., up to 51 degrees already by 11 a.m. And then as we continue into the afternoon hours, the clouds, eventually they start to win out. 57 by 2 o'clock, and then we'll stay right around 60 degrees to 61 for your afternoon high later on today. The record high is 62, which was actually set last year on this date. So this date's been treating us pretty well across the area as far as temperature-wise the past few years. This evening, if you have plans, you're just fine. Temperatures will be in the 50s with a mainly clear sky. If you're heading to the Pacers game, should be nice to head in and out of Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Now, tomorrow the rain returns, and tomorrow's high temperature is in the 50s, and that's in the morning hours. Throughout the day tomorrow, the temperatures will actually start to fall off from the 50s through the 40s, and then eventually into the 30s throughout the evening hours with rain showers off and on throughout the day. So tomorrow's the day you want to have the umbrella handy. We're not looking at a ton in the way of rainfall. I think the heaviest of the rain is going to stay down to our south. But even for the morning commute already tomorrow, some scattered showers are starting to move through, and these showers will be with us off and on throughout the day tomorrow. And then as that colder air comes in, you notice we'll go from rain showers over to a little bit of a wintry mix by the time we get to Tuesday evening. And that's the first of what will be 2 storms heading our way. Another one comes in here Wednesday into Thursday, and that one temperatures will be a little bit cooler. So we could be talking about some minor accumulating snow as we get into Thursday morning. And then temperatures looks like they will stay in the 30s for Friday and Saturday, back up into the 40s for Sunday. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Want to draw your attention to the screen here. This is the southbound lanes of I-65 near 38th Street, a little south of 38th Street this morning. You can see that crews are on the scene here blocking the right lanes of traffic. That's due to some potholes that they don't want you to go through this morning. So you'll need to stay over to the left. You can see we do have a number of crews out there at the scene right now. So hopefully they'll get that patched up and good for the rush hour this morning. Let's take a look right now. Your drive times on the east side as you're traveling in on westbound I-70 from Post Road to I-65 at the North Split. A quick 10-minute commute.
Learning a new skill can keep released inmates from reoffending and landing back in jail.
Alicia Neves shows us how computer programming is keeping former inmates on the outside.
Prisons house more than 2 million people in America right now. According to the Department of Justice, 650,000 will get out this year, and it's expected that upwards of 83% of them will reoffend and be back. But does the recidivism rate and the number of people in prison in this country have to be that high?
When you want to make a change, at the last mile, we're using technology to try to solve the problem of mass incarceration.
The Last Mile is a program that has software engineers like Jason Jones.
That will help you so much more.
Remote into prison and teach convicts computer coding. Once they learn the skill and are released, former convicts and now coders are connected with tech companies like Slack, Google, and even Facebook.
You're talking about disrupting the status quo of people not normally getting access and opportunity.
The Last Mile program is defying the country's 83% recidivism rate. In its 10 years existence, there has been zero recidivism amongst its nearly 100 graduates. Graduates that include Jason Jones.
Not only are we driving down the recidivism rate where people get out and don't come back no more, but we also have the ability to go back into communities and stop people from coming to prison in the first place.
What the Last Mile has shown is that change is possible.
Beverly Parenti and her husband, Chris Redlitz, founded the Last Mile program at one prison in California, and now it's in several across 5 states.
We're trying to create a platform that we can take across the country that will sort of level up expectation from people inside.
In total, about 500 offenders are going through the program now, and while their lives are potentially being changed, the financial burden to society is also being relieved.
We know for sure that there are better uses of our funds than spending on prison.
Generally, many people inside really want to do better. They want a second chance. They want the opportunity to be successful. So create that opportunity for them to be successful, because 90% of the people that are incarcerated are going to get out. So the question is, who do you want them to be?
I'm Alicia Nieves.
Super Bowl 54 is in the books. After the break, we're taking a look at the Hoosiers involved in the big game. We'll be right back.
Be confident to and through retirement.
Okay, Lauren, I know you stayed up to watch some of the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I didn't, so recap me here.
Okay, well, I can tell you that 17 million Americans, they're expected to call out of work today because they stayed up too late.
Wow.
We made it in today. But they stayed up to watch this great game. Kansas City Chiefs overcoming a 10-point deficit in the 4th quarter to lift the Lombardi Trophy for the first time in 50 years. Here's Chiefs quarterback and game MVP Patrick Mahomes following that big win.
To me, my mindset is always play and compete until the very last whistle, until that clock strikes 0. And so I just went out there and kept competing. I knew we weren't in the ideal situation, but I believed in my defense.
Well, there were 4 players with Indiana connections playing in that big game. Former Boilermaker Raheem Mostert, Lawrence Central grad Sheldon Day, his former Notre Dame teammate Mike McGlinchey, along with former Hoosier Tevin Coleman. They all play for the San Francisco 49ers, who, when I went to bed, I just thought they were going to win. I missed the comeback.
So we don't just breed basketball players here in the Hoosier State. We got a couple football players.
Yeah,
congrats to the Chiefs. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, Todd, and congratulations to us because we are about to have another fantastic day of weather.
Yesterday was Super Bowl winning weather here in central Indiana. That is for sure. Temperatures were in the 60s. It was a record high yesterday. We had the sunshine. Today it's going to be mild once again. A little more in the way of clouds throughout the day today. And you're starting off this morning with temperatures that are in the 30s across the area as we work our way throughout the course of the day today, though. Look at these highs once again, upper 50s to the north, about 61 here in the city. If we get to 62, that would set the record again for the day today. 63 in Bloomington and Columbus. We have no rain today. That returns, though, tomorrow.
It could be another step toward homes for the homeless. Ahead on Good Morning Indiana, we'll update you on a plan putting a small roof over the heads of people who may not have one right now.
And here's a live look at your commute to our southwest I-70 here, Ronald Reagan Parkway near the airport. Maybe you're catching an early morning flight here. You shouldn't have any problems getting there on the interstates. Stick around. We'll be right back after this short break.
Today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
A multi-million-dollar project is hoping to help the homeless right here in Indianapolis. The progress being made to help those in need.
And local college students are getting a jump start into the pharmacy industry. Coming up at 5, Kelsey Anderson shows us how a Purdue program is giving opportunities to the next generation of pharmacists. But first, we have got a prescription for sunshine again today.
That's right, and Todd Clausen is going to break it down, tell us a little bit more about it, and Todd will give you A+ for the forecast yesterday.
You know, yesterday was just terrific.
Amazing.
It's just one of those days that you get every now and then in February, and hopefully you took full advantage of it with it being on a weekend, and not as many people had to work yesterday. 37 in Bloomington right now. It's 36 in Greenfield, 41 in Indianapolis. We're going to try to repeat the temperatures from yesterday, and I think temperatures actually get pretty close. Yesterday up to 63. Today we're probably right around 60 to 61. Still great. The difference, though, is a little more in the way of cloud cover throughout the day today, and you can already see those clouds starting to increase for us, but you don't see any precipitation until you get well off to our west. So even though the clouds will increase and it's not going to be as bright of a day as it was yesterday for us here, it's still going to be very, very mild with those temperatures climbing all the way into the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees. And with the dry conditions, get outside and enjoy. Grab the sunglasses this morning. You'll probably need them at times here this morning before the clouds ultimately win out. But overall, anytime you're talking about 60 degrees in February, I think we are doing okay. The time now is 5:31. Let's get another look at the roadways with Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a look right now on the east side, near East Side, I-70 of Rural Street and Keystone Avenue. Traffic's moving along up to speed, starting to pick up a little bit this morning. Everything's traveling just fine. So let's take a look at your drive times heading southbound right now through Hamilton County here, I-69. A 13-minute drive you can expect from State Road 13 down to the I-465 ramps. So let's take you down to the southeast side. Good morning to you, Beech Grove. Here's a live look, I-465 and Emerson Avenue. No crashes or delays right now on your interstates.
New overnight, one person is hospitalized after a shooting at an East Side gas station. It happened just before 11 last night near 10th and Rural Streets. Officers were called to a Marathon gas station on reports of a person shot. When they arrived, they found a person suffering from a gunshot wound. That victim was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Police are still working to learn what led to that shooting.
Indianapolis police are also investigating a shooting after a person arrived at the hospital with a gunshot wound. Police responded to reports of shots fired in the 500 block of North Gladstone Avenue near Michigan Street before 9 last night. They were later told that someone arrived at the hospital suffering from a gunshot wound. The victim was last listed in critical condition. Police have not released any information about a possible suspect.
A jury trial is scheduled to begin this morning for the woman charged with killing a man and his infant nephew last August. Ivory Smith is charged with murdering William Wilson Jr. and his 3-month-old nephew at a home on Guilford Avenue. Her trial was originally scheduled for November last year, but was pushed to today. Court documents say Smith told police she and Wilson were engaged and she shot him during an argument. Smith said she, quote, just snapped and didn't know there was a baby in the room she fired into. Wilson's mother was also shot. We'll continue to follow this case and update you with the very latest on the RTV6 app.
It is 5:33, a multi-million-dollar project to provide a safe place for people who are transitioning out of homelessness on the city's west side is making some progress. In November, we told you about the plans to build a tiny house village on South Lyndhurst Drive near Morris Street. We checked in with leaders for the Circle City Village who say that they're making progress. They're hoping to build 28 tiny homes on land donated by Lyndhurst Baptist Church. It will be a safe place for people making the transition to stay, a place that will help get them back on their feet.
Looking at initially 2 years, but if over the course of time, if they're a good resident, they need to stay longer, we're happy to have them a bit longer as needed. So allow them time to look at employment, look at going back to school, and time just to feel safe and not have to be exposed to the elements and wonder where they're going to be sleeping that night.
In order to move forward, they need to raise $10,000. The estimated total cost for this project is $2 million. Leaders say they plan on applying for grants, and they're hoping once the project moves forward, they'll receive more donor help. You can read more about the project and find a link to donate on the RTV6 app. Money will help them pay for fees they need to apply for permits to rezone this property and eventually help develop the land. Leaders say donations are critical right now to start this process. We have a link right now on the RTV6 News app with this story and the information on how to donate.
Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6's focus on linking you up with skills, resources, and job. And we'd love to find ways that education can take you into a career. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us from Purdue University to show us how they are getting your future pharmacist classroom to career ready.
Well, students in the College of Pharmacy get to work here at the Purdue University Pharmacy, where they get real-world experience into retail.
Purdue University Pharmacy, this is Maddie, student pharmacist. How may I help you today?
You just kind of threw us right into it, and it's been a learning process ever since.
For first-year pharmacy students like Natalie Kinsler, learning in a working pharmacy isn't something she thought she'd be doing fresh into pharmacy school.
I felt like it's a really great experience for all of the first-year professional students just to get their toes in the water, get exposed to the common medications that we usually dispense.
Clinical instructor Alan Farkas says they have some students who come into the college with no experience in a real working pharmacy, and being able to work here gives them confidence.
They're so unsure and very nervous in the beginning of the semester, then by the time they're done, they know what they're doing. They're confident and interacting with patients, answering the phones, and discussing medications.
It's a great opportunity to create good habit.
But it's not just first-year students who are getting to learn new things. As a fourth-year student, Casey Bernier gets to be the teacher and put her knowledge to the test.
In order to teach anything, you have to know it very well so that you can teach it to others. So I'm very interested in teaching anyway, so that's why this was a great rotation experience for me. But even those who aren't interested in teaching, this is such a good, it gives me good feedback and it helps me to know what I do know and what I don't know.
Farkas says he believes it's a rewarding experience for the soon-to-be graduates.
They get a chance to mentor these younger students. They are able to pull everything together that they've learned over the past 3 years and explain it to someone else who's at the beginning stages.
Once students graduate from the College of Pharmacy, there are several avenues they can take. They can get into retail, they can get into research, or they can get into teaching. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. You can see this story and all of our other Hiring Hoosiers profiles right now on the RTV6 app and our website, hiringhoosiers.com.
A local food pantry that serves families in need on the Northeast Side is marking their 1-year anniversary, and they're doing so by continuing their work to serve the community. The No Questions Asked Food Pantry is located at All Souls Unitarian Church on East 56th Street. It got its start after some members of the congregation wanted to help those affected by the government shutdown. A year later, volunteers got together to remember its start and mission. Volunteer coordinator Amber Toombs used to rely on food pantry and says it's an important way to help the community.
It's just cutting down the barriers for the people who need it the most, with us just come in and get what you need, no questions asked.
Pantry organizers say it takes between $300 and $500 to keep the pantry open. They say the donations are still needed to stay stocked up. To learn more about the pantry and ways to help, find this story on the RTV6 app.
A military veteran set out to run 100 miles to bring awareness to issues impacting all veterans, and this weekend he accomplished his goal. Dustin Johnson completed what's known as the Taji 100, named for a former base in Iraq. Normally, veterans run the 100 miles over the entire month of February, but Johnson thought he could raise more awareness by pushing past the pain and finishing his run in just one day.
Thanks everybody for the support. It was rough that last 15 miles or so, but we did it together as a family, as a tribe. I couldn't have done it without you guys.
Dustin says he was running in part to bring attention to the problem of military veterans taking their own lives. If you know someone who might need help, the number for the National Suicide Prevention Line is on your screen. It is 1-800-273-8255.
Kansas City lit up with the night with fireworks as the city celebrated the Chiefs' first Super Bowl win in 50 years. The team took home the Lombardi Trophy after beating the San Francisco 49ers in last night's championship game. The teams were tied at halftime, but the 49ers quickly took the lead. Former Purdue star Raheem Mostert's one-yard touchdown run gave them the 20-10 lead going into the fourth quarter. After that, it was all quarterback Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Mahomes passing to Damian Williams for a TD, and then the running back took one more to the goal line before the end of the game. Kansas City with the final 31-20. 24-year-old Patrick Mahomes was named the game's most valuable player. Congratulations to the Chiefs. All right, Tom, back here at home, let's get the kids out the door. They might be a little tired today if they stayed up late last night.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably did stay up a little bit late, but at least as you start to take to the roadways and the kids head off to the bus stop this morning, there's no weather-related issues. It's cool but quiet for us with the temperature as the kids go off to school sitting right around 33 degrees. As the kids come home from school, just send them right back outside because it's going to be another very mild day for us with temperatures that'll be climbing up to right around 60 degrees in many locations. A little cooler to the north, should be right around 61 in the metro area, even a little bit warmer in southern locations. The record high today for Indianapolis is 62 degrees, so we'll get pretty close to that. Now going forward in this forecast, we do bring rain back starting tomorrow. In fact, some of these showers probably develop late tonight and then into the overnight hours, and then through the day tomorrow we'll be dealing with these showers through 2 p.m. then they kind of tail off a little bit throughout the evening hours, and it could even end as a bit of a wintry mix. So today is the best day that we have left in this entire week. Take advantage. We'll talk about the rain for tomorrow and that wintry mix for Wednesday and Thursday coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Closing arguments of the impeachment trial are set to begin today. Coming up, the upcoming proceedings as the trial nears a final vote.
And a man was shot and killed by London police after stabbing multiple people. Why investigators believe it was terror-related. It's 5:41.
And here's a live look right now. Your commute I-465 here, Sam Jones Expressway on the west side, where traffic is already picking up early this morning. We'll continue to keep a close eye on the roads. We'll keep you updated on the other side of the break. Stick around.
New this morning, closing arguments in the Senate impeachment trial of President Trump are set to begin. In a TV interview, Trump unrelenting in his criticism of the process, calling the trial a witch hunt. ABC's Andrew Dimbert is on Capitol Hill with more on what we can expect in the next few days.
I use the word witch hunt. I use the word hoax.
Hours before closing arguments in the impeachment trial, the president letting loose on his rivals and critics, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, in an interview with Fox News host Sean Hannity.
I think she's a very confused, very nervous woman. I don't think she wanted to do this. I think she really knew what was going to happen, and it's her worst nightmares happened.
The trial fastly facing the finish line. Wednesday, senators are expected to vote on both articles of impeachment, abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. With a 53-47 Republican advantage in the Senate, Trump is all but certain to be acquitted.
It's a grand tragedy
one of the worst tragedies that the Senate has ever overcome.
Democrats had pinned their hopes on introducing new documents and witnesses in the trial, like former National Security Advisor John Bolton, but failed to garner enough votes.
The motion is not agreed to.
And with the trial's conclusion on the horizon, President Trump now turning his attention to the State of the Union address Tuesday. Joining Bill Clinton back in 1999 as presidents who delivered the address in the midst of impeachment. Even if every Democratic senator votes to remove President Trump from office, that's not nearly the 2/3 majority required to actually remove him. Andrew Dimber, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
It is 5:46. A man in London was shot and killed by police after what officials are calling a terror-related incident. The man was killed after reports of people being stabbed along a busy shopping area Sunday afternoon. 2 people were injured in the stabbings. Police identified the suspect as 20-year-old Sudesh Aman. He's known to counter terror police and was recently released from prison for distributing extremist material.
U.S. travel restrictions are now in place to try to contain the Wuhan coronavirus. The restriction bars foreign nationals from entering the U.S. if they visited China in the last 2 weeks. U.S. citizens who return from visiting the Hubei province will be quarantined for 2 weeks. Those who have been elsewhere in China will get extra screenings. This weekend, 2 Indiana colleges are restricting travel to China. IU is restricting travel for faculty, staff, and students with guidance from the CDC. Taylor University in Northeast Indiana has canceled a study abroad program in China. Well, no one needs to travel anywhere today, Todd, because we've got some great weather ahead.
Yeah, you know, once again, we're talking about the potential for a record high temperature. Yesterday, we got there, set the record high at 63 degrees. The record high today is 62, which we actually set last year. So if we can get to 62, we would tie the record high 2 years in a row. It's going to be a close call, and the difference between yesterday and today is a little more in the way of cloud cover in the forecast for the day today. But it's a quiet morning commute for you. You don't have to worry about any issues out there with those temperatures that are fairly mild as far as February standards go. We should be getting down into the mid-20s, and we're sitting in the 30s and 40s. In fact, many of these temperatures that you see currently, those are higher than our average high for this time of year. A little colder to the north with clear skies in Peru at 28 degrees. It's 37 in Bloomington. Greenfield is 35, and 41 is the official temperature in Indianapolis. So as we work our way throughout the day today, we start off with some sunshine. The clouds increase as the day goes on, and temperatures get up to right around 60 degrees. It's going to be one of those deals where if we can keep the clouds away long enough, I think we probably easily climb up into the low 60s. If those clouds gather just a little bit quicker, and then we're talking about temperatures only in the mid to upper 50s across the area. Either way, you're in great shape in February anytime you're talking about temperatures as warm as they are going to be later on today. So here are the clouds already starting to increase. As we expand out, there's really not a whole lot off to our west as far as any precipitation goes. So we're dry throughout the day today. However, tonight after sunset and really probably just closer to midnight and beyond, we'll start to bring in some rain, and then we're dealing with rain showers tomorrow. Tomorrow's temperatures start in the 50s, and then they actually fall throughout the course of the day. Here's the rain showers coming in overnight. This is 3:30 in the morning. They're all pretty spotty, but they'll be around for your morning commute. The heavier showers and the more steady rainfall will be across southern sections of central Indiana during the course of tomorrow morning's drive. But these showers just stick with us off and on really throughout the entire day. They're not going to be all that heavy. That's the good news. And then when we get into tomorrow evening, as the colder air starts to come in, we'll start to change some of these rain showers over to a little bit of a wintry mix. Probably not expecting huge issues Tuesday evening with that wintry mix. The problem is there's another storm system that'll be heading our way on Wednesday into Thursday, and that one will have a little more colder air to work with and the potential for maybe some accumulating snow by the time we get to Thursday morning. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. So enjoy today. Tomorrow's still mild, at least to start, with those rain showers that move in, and then we'll get to the end of the week and it's back to reality with temperatures that will be in the mid-30s. But thankfully there's no Arctic air. But until then, enjoy today once again with those highs otherwise very spring-like, right around 60 degrees. Lauren.
Todd, thanks. An update for you. We are monitoring that pothole situation on I-65 South at 38th Street. That has been repaired. All lanes are back open, so that is great news. We'll give you a look at that in just a minute. But first, let's take a look here on the west side at your drive time heading in from eastbound I-70 from Ronald Reagan Parkway near the airport to I-65 the South Split. A 12-minute drive, no delays. Let's take a look there on the northwest side where we had those lanes blocked for pothole repairs on the right-hand side of the southbound lane. So it's actually the left side of your screen that was blocked. You can see traffic is open in all lanes, both northbound and southbound there on the northwest side. No delays to slow you down.
Forever 21 has announced it is selling its assets and declaring bankruptcy. A court filing Sunday says multiple businesses are buying the company for $81 million. The buyer is made up of 2 mall operators and a brand management firm. Forever 21 is a fast fashion brand that is known for helping women keep up with trends on a budget. In recent years, the stores have been struggling to compete with online retailers.
The world of professional golf honored Kobe Bryant 1 week after the basketball star's death. Special changes were made to the course of the final round of the Waste Management Phoenix Open. The PGA painted his numbers 24 and 8 on the fringe of the 16th hole. The flag was purple and yellow with his numbers sewn on as well. One golfer, Tony Finau, also personally honored Kobe by wearing his Lakers jersey while playing the hole.
After a flight across the country for Thanksgiving, a little boy realized his favorite toy was missing. Stella had the kind gesture Southwest Airlines made to help him feel better. We'll be right back.
Now at Ashley Home Store, this is home.
Welcome back. The time right now is 5:55. It's Monday morning, and here's a look over on the east side, I-70 and Sherman Drive. Traffic's moving along up to speed, both eastbound and westbound, really picking up, as you can see. No delays here to slow you down.
A little boy got a big surprise after losing his favorite teddy bear on an airplane, and it came from the airline Southwest. Grayson lost his teddy bear over Thanksgiving. He and his family were traveling from Dallas to New Orleans when he noticed his stuffed friend was gone. His mom posted to Southwest's Facebook page hoping someone would find the bear. But just this month, Grayson was sent a new bear whose adventure came with a story of its own. Southwest documented his new bear's journey for Grayson to see. Grayson named his new friend Jack and said it was nice to see that the airline cared. I'm a huge Southwest fan, so that doesn't surprise me at all. Oh, how fun. And I'm sure on their next trip, he'll have Jack in his arms with him. Make sure that he doesn't get left behind. But if he does, he's ready to go to work.
Hiring Hoosiers, hiring teddy bears.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's a lot more recognizable now, right?
Yeah,
for everybody on Southwest. All right, outside right now, we're talking about temperatures that aren't bad this time of morning for this time of year. We're in the 30s and even 40s. 41 in Indianapolis right now, 37 in Bloomington, 35 in Muncie. Storm Team 6 radar is quiet. If we would put the clouds on there, we will notice the clouds increase throughout the day today. So it starts off mostly sunny, ends mostly cloudy, in between a decent amount of sunshine. But here's the weather story by far today. Once again, high temperatures all the way up to 61 degrees, potentially a record high. Get out there and enjoy. We'll talk more about your extended forecast coming up in the next half hour. The time now is 5:56. Time for a break. Stay with Good Morning Indiana. We'll be back in just a few minutes.